The Rookie of the Year race between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark is done, cooked, put it to bed. As the season has progressed, the gap between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese is bigger than the gap between A'ja Wilson and Caitlin Clark at MVP. I'm not saying that Caitlin Clark is going to win MVP. No, A'ja Wilson is still the favorite, especially after yesterday's game, her performance. But looking at Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, it's not a conversation anymore. And just looking at the numbers here, Caitlin Clark is averaging 18.4 points a game. Angel Reese is at 13.2. Assists, Caitlin Clark's at 8.3 assists. Angel Reese 1.8. Steals, Caitlin Clark 1.4. Angel Reese 1.3. Blocks per game, Caitlin Clark 0.8. Angel Reese 0.5. Field goal percentage, Caitlin Clark 41.9%. Angel Reese 38.6%. And then effective field goal percentage, Caitlin Clark 52.8%. Angel Reese 38.8% from the field. Caitlin Clark is shooting 62.7% within 5 feet from the basket. Angel Reese leads the WNBA with the worst shooting percentage inside of 6 feet. And in their head-to-head matchups, Caitlin Clark is 3-1 against Angel Reese this season. Now, people will say, well, she has a better team. Well, they started 1-8. They weren't that good. And now they're 17-16. They're, 16-8 in their last 24 games? Because what's happened with the Fever is her teammates have learned how to play off Caitlin Clark. The chemistry between Mitchell and Clark since coming back for the Olympic break has been unbelievable to watch. It's been night and day where Kelsey Mitchell is not playing so much hero ball anymore. She's letting Caitlin Clark run the offense, set up the plays. Kelsey Mitchell's cutting, getting off ball screens for open three-point shots. And Caitlin Clark is finding her for those shots and letting her cook when the time is needed. And Kelsey Mitchell is playing better within the flow of the basketball game. And when you're looking at the style of play, when it comes to Angel Reese, she is a post player. The problem is she's not scoring consistently on a game-by-game basis because she gets 10 to 15 points a night. Once in a while, she'll get you 19 to 25 points, which is good. But if she was doing that more consistently, the games wouldn't end in 74-70 or 85-80 or like with the Fever in the Sky, it was 100-81. If Reese had more points, because she ended up with 10 points in that game, the game might have been more competitive, and who knows, the Sky might have won that game. The problem is when you can't score and put the ball in the basket. I know she made a comment about, well, rebounding defense does win championships. Yes, it does, but you have to outscore your opponents as well. So if you can't score consistently on offense, the Sky needs to go out and add more offensive firepower around Angel Reese. But the conversation will be, Angel Reese is a Dennis Rodman prototype. She's not going to be in the same conversations like the Charles Barkley's or Kevin Garnett's. I'm using the NBA as an example when it comes to conversations. But she won't be in those same conversations like those type of players, or for in the WNBA, like a Candace Parker or a Lisa Leslie. She won't be there, or an A'ja Wilson, because she's not good on offense. With Caitlin Clark, she's able to set her teammates up in transition. And when teams are playing full court, she's able to blow by them more consistently. She has struggles with physicality. She's adapted her game. And when you look at the chemistry between Mitchell and Clark, right now they are clicking on all cylinders. After the All-Star break in the Olympics, they have come back on fire. Mitchell is playing more within the flow of the game instead of just playing isolation basketball and playing hero ball, letting Caitlin Clark run this offense. It's easier to score for her now. And it's becoming fun to watch as Caitlin Clark continues to run this offense. And when the Fever are playing in transition, they're not slowing the game down. They are a hard basketball team to beat. Even Alyssa Smith, she's been better lately. Dantas is getting easier baskets. Those pick-and-roll actions that Clark runs, and sometimes players are having difficulty figuring out what Caitlin Clark is going to do because she's got these ball screens of Leah Boston. She'll fake one way and go the other way and just pull up for a three-point shot in their face, and they can't do anything about it. So when we talk about impact, Caitlin Clark right now impacts the game more than Angel Reese, regardless of her rebounding and defense. If she cannot score, then the Sky are not going to win basketball games because you need a number one and a number two option around Angel Reese right now. Does that mean Angel Reese is a bad basketball player? No, but we can't put her in the conversations with some of the best players like an A'ja Wilson, a Fee Collier, a Breanna Stewart, an Alyssa Thomas, a Jackie Young, a Caitlin Clark. When we're talking about Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese for their careers, there's going to be more upside for Caitlin Clark because she has a bigger impact on offense. And if Angel Reese cannot put the ball in the basket, she can get 20, 30 rebounds a game. if it doesn't translate to winning, it does not matter. And that's the difference between these two players, because Caitlin Clark impacts the game with her transition, with her playmaking, with her shooting, with her ability to finish at the rim, to blow by her defenders. Angel Reese is a post player, but if she has no game to score in the post, then it doesn't matter. You have to be able to generate offense. If you can't do that, then yeah, you can play great defense. You can get your steals and your blocks. At the end of the day, if you're not scoring, then we need to bring in another option. And if that happens, the gap becomes even larger because Caitlin Clark can score with the best of them. She can impact winning differently with her playmaking. And if her defense gets better, then this conversation in the future will be really ugly for some people, because you can try to debate Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark all day. But when I'm looking at impact, I'm taking Caitlin Clark. And this Rookie of the Year race is cooked. Earlier in the year, there were some conversations because Angel Reese was having those double-doubles. I think the Sky at one point had a better record than the Fever. But Caitlin Clark has caught up and has sped by her, and it's a wrap. You go from 1-8 to 17-16. You got the Fever rolling right now. You see the chemistry that's been built between Aaliyah Boss and Caitlin Clark, and now Kelsey Mitchell and Caitlin Clark. That is special stuff. I mean, Mitchell will probably go out and average 23 next season, the way she's playing and hooping next. She's absolutely balling. Fever have to keep her because she has learned to play off Caitlin Clark, and the impact she's making with her offense and her shooting is something that's amazing to watch. I think what Caitlin Clark needs to focus on now is just keep hooping, keep balling, keep shutting the haters up, because a lot of people are quiet right now. Y'all real quiet on Caitlin Clark's name because she's out here balling, doing her thing, and winning basketball games. Now, do I expect the Fever to win the championship? No, I don't. I don't want to go that far because I still think the Lynx, the Liberty, the Aces are still better right now, in my opinion, and also the Connecticut Sun. I think there's levels to this, but the Fever are going to be dangerous in the playoffs because what they're building since the Olympic break is something you don't want to deal with in the first round. Do I think they could make the second round? I could see that. But I think what the Fever need more than anything else is a bench. They need more consistency because when Erica Wheeler comes in, it's a complete disaster. They need a backup point guard. And then they need another wing. I think a Satu would be really good for them. I know I think she's a free agent this season. Or this is after the season. If she's available, I would pick her up from the Fever. If they get Satu on this team, Fever are going to be a major problem to deal with. But yeah, this race is cooked. It's over. Forget about any idea of Angel Reese competing. I know I saw a tweet from somebody that apparently Angel Reese is still in this race. And I'm like, are you not watching the same game? Are you just blind or just biased or ignorant? There's a lot of that going on. I think Caitlin Clark, what she's doing for the game is really good. And Angel Reese has had an impact as well. I talk about her off-the-court influence. I know she's starting a podcast. Some people have a problem with it. I don't care personally, because if you want to have a podcast, do something besides basketball, that's very healthy. People would think that these players play 24/7. That's not realistic. So if they want to do a podcast and make some extra cash on the side, I'm okay with that. Do you? If it becomes just a hobby, cool, but it'd be fun to watch. I'm curious to see what Angel Reese is going to talk about. But her off-the-court influence does play a factor in helping the WNBA grow, in my opinion, because her social media, she's got more followers than Caitlin Clark. And her brand will help, I think, the WNBA with generate more interest and fans. But yeah, this race, man, it was interesting to watch, especially in the middle of the season. I thought Reese was, the front runner. But then Clark just pulled away. And ever since the All-Star break, it seems like she needed that break to just recover and rest. I think she shot, it was 5-11 from 3 the other day. So her shooting is getting better. I think the other day before that it was 5 of 9. Can't remember the exact numbers against the Sky right now. But she was very consistent. So her shot is coming back. We'll see if it keeps up. I know those are 2 games. And yeah, whatever you guys think, I'd love to hear your thoughts on the Rookie of the Year race. Do you think Angel Reese still has a shot? If not, no big deal. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you in the next one.